Hello, I'm Terry. Today I'm going to talk about electrics, how to check and how to test out. Now I'm going to start with a 13 amp socket which is in the wall. Just remove it out of the way. They're pretty standard nowadays, a 3-pin socket. First thing you've got to do is make sure that the socket is okay, it's not damaged in any way. If it's damaged or you're not sure, get an electrician to change it. Now I want to check to see whether the live, the neutral and the earth wire are all through and all working correctly in the right order. And to do that I've got a little machine here which is basically just a mains tester. And all I do, make sure the power's off, I've got a little bump on the top which is straight above where my earth connector is. So it helps me to locate how to put a plug in. And so once I've got that, I push it in. Now at the moment it should show no lights on, which is how it should be. When I put the main switch down, they should have, all being well, 3 lights on. If the 3 lights on, then that tells me that that socket is perfectly okay. The neutral's going where it should be, the live's going where it should be, and the earth wire's going should be, and they're all connected through. Take that off, and you do that with each and every socket to make sure that that's okay. Now the other thing on here is you've got an on-off switch, which is, you do really need them now when you're blind. So always make sure that they're off until they're in use. Now one of the things with sockets and plugs as well is over the years they can deteriorate, and what I mean by that is the contacts get dirty, but we can't really clean inside a socket, not with anything. But the one way we can do it is by using a plug, just an ordinary straightforward plug that you plug in. And what you do is you make sure it's switched off, you push the plug in and then you pull it out quickly, and if you do that 3 or 4 times, every time you use a plug, it will help to keep the plug and the contacts clean, particularly on plugs that you very rarely pull in or out, something that's sort of there regularly. Now the little switch, this can get dirtier after a few years, and so what you do with this one is something very similar. When you switch it off, you flick it quickly. The quicker you flick it, the cleaner it becomes. So as simple as that. That also applies to your household switches for your lights. If you flick them every time you use them, it'll keep the contacts clean. So I think that's really all I need to talk about the sockets for you. The next thing we'll talk about is portable electrical things. Anything that will plug into it. And they usually have a plug, a cord and something at the end. And in this case, it is an extension lead I'm going to show you. So the first thing we always check is the plug. Is the plug okay? Are the prongs tight? They're not loose or bent or twisted. And the plug is not cracked or broken. The cord, make sure that the cord is connected into the plug. And then you run your fingers down the cord just to make sure we've no breaks or damages anywhere along the cord, all the way through to the other end, to whatever's at the other end. And then say this end, it's just a set of sockets. Again, check the cord when it goes into the unit to make sure that isn't damaged. And of course, whatever you're using, make sure that isn't broken or damaged in any way. This is an extension lead, and we also test an extension lead very much the same way as we did with the main socket with the tester, to make sure we have conductivity to it. So I'll plug it in, I'll switch it on at the mains, and I will switch it on and off here. And so that is okay. So that piece of equipment I'm happy with. and that I would continue to use that. If you've got any equipment that's damaged or you're not sure of, replace it. My motto is it's far cheaper to buy a replacement than pay for a funeral. And the last thing I just want to talk about is fuses in a plug. Now these do confuse people. So what I have here is a plug which I've opened up already. You probably won't be able to see it, but when we look at it, the earth wire is always at the top, the neutral is always on the left hand side, and the line is always on the right hand side, and this is where the fuse goes, and you can tell that because there's two prongs and the fuse fits between the two prongs to create a circuit. Now this fuse is a 13 amp fuse. I can't read it, but I know it's a 13 amp and I know it's coloured brown. The other one we use regularly is a 3 amp fuse which is coloured red. When they first came out there was many different types or sizes of fuses. I think there used to be a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, I think there was 11 and 13, but a lot of those have fallen by the wayside because people couldn't be bothered buying them. So I think you generally only buy 3 or 13. It is important to put the right fuse in. And just as a rule of the thumb, if anything is heated, like an electric kettle or a toaster or anything such as that, you would definitely need a 13 amp fuse. Anything smaller than that, like a small portable lamp, which is not very powerful, a 3 amp. And on each item it should tell you on a little tag somewhere the power that it requires. Going back to the days when I was at college, how I used to work it out was, in Britain we have 240 volts, and if you multiply the voltage by the amps, so if you have a 3 amp fuse and you multiply it by 240, it'll give us 720, and that is the maximum wattage you can use, 720 for a 3 amp fuse. But a 13 amp fuse, it's over 3 kilowatts. So I think that's about it. So thank you.